Welcome, everyone, to Center Stage at Meek. This afternoon, we're bringing together a remarkable panel of survivors, advocates, and community leaders for an intimate conversation about faith, resilience, and the power of awareness. Let's begin by introducing our incredible guests. Our first guest is Dr. Odienne Medicier, and she is a powerhouse in healthcare with over 35 years of experience. Dr. Medicier serves as supervisor of advanced practice providers and clinical provider at the Taylor Breast Health Center at Jackson Memorial Hospital. And she's also an adjunct professor at Florida National University. She's also a mentor, researcher, and devout community servant, leading medical missions abroad and inspiring others through her talks on faith and healing. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Odienne Medicier, a true model of compassion and purpose. Our next guest is Cheryl Mason. She's an educator with the Florida Department of Corrections and a passionate advocate for cancer awareness. In 2012, through her own self-examination, Cheryl discovered her stage 3 HERS2 positive diagnosis and took part in a groundbreaking research that shaped today's standard of care. Her victory became a source of strength and hope for so many, including her twin sister, who happens to be me, reminding us all of the power of faith, family, and early detection. Please welcome Cheryl Mason, a woman whose courage continues to light the way for others. Joining us next is Alicia Ezell. She's a 2-time breast cancer thriver who proves that strength can sparkle. Diagnosed in 2021 and again in 2023, both caught early, Alicia turned her journey into a message of empowerment and grace. By day, she's a real estate paralegal and consultant here in South Florida, and she's known for her brilliance, humor, and high-heel confidence. Let's welcome Alicia Ezell. She's living proof that faith, vigilance, and style make an unbeatable combination. Our final guest is Genan Saint Flair Gorg. She's the vice president of the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce. She's an award-winning entrepreneur, author, and community champion. She has been honored by the World Trade Center, Miami, with the 2023 International Women's Achievement Award for her leadership and global impact. A 4-time cancer survivor, Dejan shares her 20-year journey of faith and strength in her inspiring memoir, Perseverance. Please help me in welcoming Gejan Saint Flair Gorg, a living testament to resilience and purpose. Let's give another round of applause for all of our phenomenal panelists. Dr. Medicier, Dr. Cheryl Mason, Alicia Ezell, and Gejan Saint Flair Gorg. Together, they embody strength, hope, and healing. Now let's begin the interview. A conversation about awareness, survival, and the power of community.
Besides skin cancer, breast cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer among American women. In fact, this year alone, it's estimated about 30% of newly diagnosed cancers in women will be breast cancer. In today's Mammogram Monday report, we're looking at how advances in research will help many of these women successfully beat that disease. Twins Cheryl Mason and Shameen Garrison are not only similar in appearance, they've shared many of the same life experiences, including breast cancer.
With breast cancer, I was diagnosed first, but Shemaine started the journey with colon cancer.
But Shameen's colon cancer was actually related to her breast cancer. Both she and her sister are HER2 positive, and their cancers are influenced by a newly discovered gene mutation.
My research nurse was like, "That's just weird that you and your twin both had cancer." And then so when I got diagnosed, so then they said, "Oh, there's a new gene, ATM gene, and that gene is colon cancer, breast cancer, and pancreatic cancer."
The twins' dual diagnosis were separated by 6 years, Cheryl in 2012 and Shameen in 2018.
Obviously, we both had our times of fear when I found out. It's no cakewalk.
Dr. Aisha Rivers, a breast surgical oncologist with the Memorial Breast Cancer Center, says the twins' experience is unusual.
But to be quite honest with you, the majority of our patients don't have family history. So to have someone who's not only your sister, but your twin sister go through a very similar experience a couple of years after you is very unique, very unique.
Dr. Rivers says advances in breast cancer research are helping women like Cheryl and Shameen survive and thrive.
I think one of the myths that a lot of patients are thinking is that, hey, this is the first time that they're doing this and I don't want to be the guinea pig. But before we offer a research trial to a patient, there's tons of layers and years of research behind the scenes that you don't see that tells us that, yes, this is safe to take it to the next step. It's safe to use it in the treatment setting.
Cheryl was actually part of a clinical trial during her cancer treatment, which ultimately led to approval of a new treatment therapy that Shameen benefited from during her battle with breast cancer years later.
One of the things that I'm really proud of for the both of us is showing, I think we've shown our children that it doesn't matter what you go through. If you are willing to fight, you lean on your faith and your family, you will get through it.
And they are. Dr. Rivers, of course, mentioned how unusual this kind of case was. In fact, about 85% of breast cancer occurs in women who have no family history or connection to.
Thank you for that. Now, that video was shot maybe about 5 years ago. And we wanted to share that because a lot of people think, oh, it's not in my family, so it's not likely that I would be a person that would have cancer, but that is definitely not the case. So I have some. We're gonna have a conversation. Are you all ready? Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna start by asking you, Dr. Medicir. You've spent more than 3 decades in healthcare, guiding patients through some of the most difficult moments in their lives. What has this work taught you about faith, compassion, and human spirit in the face of illness?
Thank you. Thank you again for having us here. Yes, when you patient, first of all, you have to look at the person, and each patient is individual. They may have the same name diagnosis, but their illness, their journey is different. And faith, advocacy plays a very, very major role into how people will recover, into how people will face the illness, into how people will accept treatment. But what I tell people all the time is me coming from a place of faith myself is first a privilege for me to be able to walk with you in this journey. People respond differently with their faith. Some people's faith stop them from receiving treatment. Some other people, their faith is the catalyst for them to receive treatment. So my role in helping patient is to help patient receive and accept the diagnosis and move forward with it. A lot of patients will come to me and said, I don't receive that diagnosis. But they're coming from their faith, knowing that, thinking that if you don't receive it, it's not going to happen, or it's somebody projecting it onto you. So it's a little difficult for me as a person of faith. I'm like, I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ and the blood. I believe that God can heal everyone. I am never going to wish any illness or disease on anyone just because I'm working in the field. So no, I am not projecting something into you. If you're not going to accept it, meaning that you're going to stand on your faith that you're going to be healed, but what are you going to do about it? Versus somebody else who say, I'm not accepting it, and they just forget about it, go about their business.
So what I'm hearing is that as a doctor also, you have to take in consideration as well the faith of your patients, and you have to approach each patient as an individual on how you're going to deal with presenting them with a treatment plan as well. All right. So Cheryl, your journey began with your own self examination. It was a simple act that saved your life. Looking back, what pushed you to listen to your intuition and take that first step towards getting checked?
It was truly disbelief. I when I felt the lump, it was something different about this because growing up I had several different lumps, but they were benign and it was normally through my cycle, my monthly cycle, and you see these lumps, you feel these lumps, but they go away. This one was different. When I felt it, I felt like it was different than anything that I had felt before. And so through that, of course, back then, my twin sister and I used to go to the gym every single morning. So we were at the gym one day, and I said to her, a few days ago I felt this lump, and I can't get it out of my head, because it's still there. I feel it, and being the nosy person that she is, she came over and she's like, we were getting ready to take a shower so that we can get ready for work. And she came over and she felt it. And I moved on with my life. I went ahead and I went to work, and she called me and she said, you need to call and make an appointment to get that checked. And I said, I will. But she knows me almost better than anyone else. But she told me if I didn't call and make an appointment, she was going to impersonate me and make the appointment. And then I wouldn't have the choice but to go because I had the appointment. And so I did call and I made that appointment. And that was the beginning of my journey. And it was a good thing that I did speak to my sister about it, because she gave me that extra push that I needed to go and get it checked out. But, sometimes you need to know your body. And this lump was different than anything that I had ever felt before. And because I knew my body and because I knew that this was not something that was just going to go away, I felt compelled to tell my
So
sister.
know your body and get yourself a support system.
Absolutely.
That is important. And that's not just after you find out or you have a diagnosis. The support system is what helps you through these things to get to the next side sometimes. So Alicia, you faced breast cancer not once, but twice. And still came out shining. I mean, look at you.
I'm sparkling, baby.
With optimism and humor. How did you find your strength the second time around? Because it's hard enough the first time. But the second time around, how did you find your strength, and what mindset helped you to navigate that journey?
Well, the first and second time, I would say my strength is from God and family, always. I'm a believer. I think that everything that comes my way for a reason. I believe in the positivity of love and faith. So I couple that with a little bit of laughter. Actually, a lot of laughter. Started with some Eddie Murphy movies, and I went down that little rabbit hole. I'd never seen those. Ended up with Medea and things like that. Instead of Googling the medical field when there's people there with 30 years of experience, I decided to turn myself over to God and to being a patient for the people who are experienced in it. I was also very selective early on with who I shared my journey with. And the reason that was so important for me was that one of the first people that I encountered made a comment to me. I said, well, I'm starting this journey of breast cancer treatment. And they go, oh, my goodness, I had a friend who had that, girl, but she died. And I said, excuse me, but did your words kill her? Because I'm wounded right now.
Wow.
And I am very strong about calling people out on insensitivity. It's important always to correct people in the moment, because a lot of the times we're self-aware that your words carry the most power. And she responded, no, that's not what I meant at all. I go, well, you got to be careful because you know how that is. That stuff sticks.
Exactly.
I feel dirty after you said something like that.
Wow.
So I also have a beautiful mother who I had not talked to about. My first source was my husband. I told Diego, he was like, oh, we got to sit the family down. I was like, well, baby, let me just sit with this first. I just found out. My mom is a drama queen. If she watches this, sorry, but it's true. I decided to tell her the day before my surgery. My sister also was going to become my responsibility. I told her the week before my surgery, and that was tears. And instead of me being able to focus on what I needed to go through, I sort of had to take care of them. Second time, it was just my business, mine and Diego's.
Okay.
We told them we booked a hospital room, and that's when I took care of my treatments. I mean, a hotel room, I'm sorry. Because I really wasn't equipped to take care of everybody else's emotions of the, oh my God, girl, if something happens to you, well, it can't because I'm focused on you right now.
Right.
But
wow.
That's where mine came from. Being a little bit selfish and internalizing and really, really focusing on.
Yeah, not
just
selfish.
Like the doctor said,
selective.
if you give it to God,
right.
you have to acknowledge it to give it to him.
Right.
I know he got me for whatever reason. He got me.
He got you. Yeah, not necessarily selfish, but selective and understanding yourself, because your decisions were not just based on being selfish. It's understanding your own needs at that moment, and right now you didn't have it in you to pour into anyone else. So that's understandable. All right. So, Ginan, your story of overcoming 4 separate diagnoses is extraordinary. What was the moment you decided that your story needed to be shared through your book, Perseverance, and what do you hope readers take from your book?
A few months before I was diagnosed, a good friend of mine from school told me that she had breast cancer, and I didn't care. I mean, to me, it was just her telling me that she had a headache. When I had to go to Boston for my double D breasts, and then they told me that that I had cancer, the first person that I called was her to apologize. Because just like you were saying, sometimes people don't know what you're going through. They just see you and then they just say things. They asked me for a wig. They asked me to do this. And when we talk about faith and family, so my mother would have killed me because she says, all you need to do is just get some teas. Don't worry, it's gas, because I had the pain in my back. But I found a lump under my armpit. But imagine her telling me, oh, your back is hurting you. It's just gas. But then my faith helped me because I feel like God doesn't give you things that you cannot handle.
Sure doesn't.
And as far as sharing, I was 33 when I was diagnosed the first time. And it was just about my family, my son, and my job. My son was 8 years old at the time. But then it dawned on me as an immigrant, I have a support system. My mom was here. I had gone to Boston for 6 months for treatment. My sister took care of my son. She's a nurse, so she's always there. My mom is a drama queen. Those doctors, they don't know what they're doing. They just tell you what's in the book. It's just because you go to them, tell them about your business that they diagnosed you. So imagine. But I realized that there's other women that are immigrant. They don't have a support system. They don't have their green card. They have to worry about sending money to Haiti. So to them, and I'm going to make the comparison because I was going 100 miles an hour when I felt that the cancer slowed me. So to them, if I have to go to the doctors and find out I was sick, who's going to take care of those people in the back? So sometimes they just push it away. They don't want to accept. And acceptance acceptance doesn't mean that you are gonna be defeated. Acceptance help you balance what your next stop is going to be, and that's the
Right,
reason why I
right.
call the book Perseverance, because you have to press
Press
forward and you have to persevere. But persevere seems so common, like, yeah, you persevere, but persevering also means that you have to make that effort. My mom says, whatever your problem is, leave it to God. I say I'm going to help God by making healthy choices, by trying to find a better space for me spiritually, because on my fourth cancer, I decided that I would not take any chemo, that I wanted to prepare and embrace my mortality, or my passing through the next stage of my life. So
Okay.
I shared, and
So
they
the
didn't
name of the
like
book
it.
is Perseverance. Thank you. So Dr. Medicere, from your experience working at the Taylor Breast Health Center, what are some misconceptions or fears you see among women, especially women of color, when it comes to screening or seeking care?
The belief of coming in, getting their mammogram, or once you tell them the diagnosis, of continuing. It's not linear. It varies. Some people will accept it, go forward. What do we do next? When do we do it? Can we start now? But majority of people take that pause. And we know with cancer, um, time is of the essence because cancer is an abnormal growth of the cells, and that growth is going to continue if you don't treat it, if you don't do something about it. As a medical provider in the Western world, we deal with pharmaceuticals, we deal with radiation, we deal with surgery. We also know of the other kinds of treatments, like you mentioned. And we tell patients we do not stop you from going to these treatments, but knowing that the research is not there. Most of the research you will see on these things are made by the people who are selling it, but not by outsiders. But what we tell you, come to your treatment. Come to that point where you will accept your treatment. Um, we're doing a good job, I would say, in the communities now. I commend you with this type of program that you do and the programs that we do, especially every month. It is shown now by research that Black people are mostly the ones getting their mammograms done now.
All right.
That's amazing. That's a good thing. That's a great thing. And we need to keep it up. However, they don't do the follow ups.
That's the part.
A lot of times you get a second call after the first mammogram, not because something might be wrong, it's just because the picture was not clean enough. So we need a cleaner picture. So we just, like Isol just mentioned, people have experiences from the past where people have died. I tell people nowadays we are at a better place now, thanks to Cheryl. So we're research. We have more research. People survive now. We have more survivors than ever before. So a cancer diagnosis is not a death sentence.
Absolutely.
Even at the latest stage of 4, it's still not a death sentence. We have people living way past what medical science is telling them that they will be living. So don't let that stop you from getting the treatment that you need.
For that. So, as a sister, a survivor, and an advocate, Cheryl, what role do you think family support plays in healing? And how can families be more present for loved ones walking through a diagnosis?
Wow, that's a big question, and I thank God every single day for the family that I have. Let me tell you, my husband and I, when I was diagnosed with cancer, it was so hard for me to really express and tell him and tell the family that I am positive, cancer positive. I have cancer. But this man, he showed out. I was so amazed, and I would tell my sister even today, I talk about it to everybody. I realized how much my husband loved me when I told him that I was diagnosed with cancer. This man was there for me through all of that, even to the point where he went and he bought a whole suite of refrigerator, dishwasher, a new stove, everything when I was diagnosed with cancer, because he felt like he needed to take care of me. And it was so many times that he found me in the bed where I was pretty much passed out. And if it was not for this man to come and wake me up or say, you need to go to the doctor or you need to eat, I don't know where I would be today. But aside from my husband being there and showing me, not telling me, but showing me how much he loved me, my family was amazing. I had sisters bringing me food, cooking for me, bringing it to the house. I had one of my sisters, one of my oldest sisters, she's short and little, but she is dynamic. And this woman would come to my house and clean my house for me on a regular basis. But more than that, I think what was so important is the support that you get, the mental support that you get from the people that love you. Most people want to keep it a secret, and that's fine. But if you have a small nucleus of people that's going to be there for you, I think that's more important than sometimes the treatment.
Yeah. I just want to add that yes, wonderful that you have this support system, but I also want to encourage somebody who might be watching right now and say, but I don't have that. But I'm telling you right now that we have community resources.
Yes.
The center where you are getting your treatment, I'm telling you, like in my center, the patients become family. We invest in your recovery. We invest in your treatment. We invest in you getting well and get what you need. So we give you all the resources that are available. We do the support system group, and you will see. But what I see, I have to mention though, in the Spanish community, they tend to get closer quicker than the rest of us. They meet that same day. Next thing you know, they're best friends, and then
Calling each other
calling
and
each
all of
other,
that.
checking up on each other. So we like to model that for other people. You can have
Right.
that even if you don't have that one family member
Right.
that can do that for you, but they're still available in the community. American Cancer Society. There's so many cancer survivors now who have organization that will come and walk with you. So don't ever feel like you are alone in walking with this journey.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So if you decide that you don't have someone that is already family close to you, the message I'm getting here is reach outside of that circle and find a group that could be supportive to help you through the journey. So I'm going to ask you, Alicia, you've often said strength can sparkle. What does that mean to you? And how did you manage to hold on to joy, femininity, and confidence during such a challenging time?
I've always loved fashion. And visiting Sylvester during COVID, which was when I had my first diagnosis, one of the first things I noticed was that people were very resigned to be patient. I go in, and it's great to be comfortable, but the young ladies and older ladies I'd be surrounded around would have their turbans on, no makeup. And a lot of them were really into the woe is me, I got cancer. So I happened to have a conversation with a woman, and she was like, well, why do you get dressed up? In answer to that, looking good makes me feel good. But
Thank you.
pressing on showed I had something to prove. I made sure to come in sparkling. The bad news is that they gave me a title, the Empress, the Queen, and I was like, I own that.
That's right.
I own that. I want to walk into the room like God sent me there.
So sparkle is strength to you, is the equivalent of your shine, your inner shine is your strength. And don't let anyone cover that up. Thank you
Strongly
for that.
believe that. Strongly.
Thank you. Okay, so Gayan, your leadership in the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce shows how you've turned resilience into service. By the way, she is one of the founders of the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. Thank you. It was needed in the community. How has your cancer journey influenced the way you empower others through business, culture, and community work?
Wow. I started the chamber after cancer. And what helps me in my leadership is the fact that when I'm dealing with people, it helps me understand that when you plan something, you need to be able to plan it so well that if you're not there, that the legacy continue. And I encourage all my members and the community, when you're doing something, do it from a place of love. I never thought that I would have lasted 15 years with the chamber, but it helps me prepare as well. Prepare two ways, knowing that if I'm doing something in 10 days, maybe in 7 days I'm not going to feel well. So I have to take time, not rush into things. Prepare also to have somebody who could take over. So oftentimes people see me and they think that I'm doing, but I have that support system. I have those people that I could count on. And I tell them all the time, if I were to plan something for next Friday and I die on Thursday, the show must go on. The show must go on.
So, Dr. Medicere, tell me about genetics and how family history is important and what we should consider as we go through our life journey in terms of looking for cancer or determining, what treatment plans we should get. Just a little bit about genetics and breast cancer.
Very important. Family history and genetics, very important in treating cancer in general, breast cancer in particular. And you ladies are the prime example. If you can recall the video that was played before regarding the genetic, the mutation that they found in you, in your family per se. So when you look at the risk factors for breast cancer, we can go down from being a woman being the number one risk factor to your age, the time you had, the age you had your first period, the age you have your last period, obesity, your diet, looking at all of the risk factors. Among them is genetic. Among them is family history. So you can see it's the minority of the people with breast cancer actually have the gene that causes breast cancer. But it is important to know, especially when you are diagnosed at a very young age. We're talking about less than 50 and even in the 30s, like you. One of the first tests that they do after your diagnosis is the genetic test, because as you mentioned in the question, having the genetic test also may direct your treatment.
Okay.
It will direct your treatment. So that's why we always tell everybody, don't listen, but listen with a critical ears when so-and-so told you they had breast cancer and then this is the treatment they received. I tell you, just because you have the same name doesn't mean you have the same cancer.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense.
Your treatment will not be the same. And if we were to go over with these four ladies here about their treatments, they will tell you differently what treatment that they receive. Just because we have the genetic, that will mean if you are positive, you do carry that gene that causes breast cancer and you are very young, which is most likely it will come in younger people. They will offer you to remove both breasts. It's because your risk of having breast cancer is that high. Your risk of having a recurrence is that high. Your risk of having a second or third cancer is so high in the 80% that it's better to do what we call a prophylaxis. Just get ahead of it before it comes. Whereas somebody else who doesn't have the genetic, they will tell you, we're just going to go here, remove that little thing right there, and then we're done. But so-and-so had her breast taken out. Just, we're not the same. The tumors are not the same. The cancers are not the same. So it's very important to know. And if you do know when you have the test, it's also important to share.
Absolutely.
Let the other family members know about that gene that we have in the family, so that they will also be aware and be vigilant themselves. Because when you know, you should be doing better, meaning that checking yourself, getting your mammogram, and doing anything you can do to reduce your risk. So that's why knowledge is power. That's why knowledge is good.
Okay. So I'm hearing too then, knowing your genetic history tells you, hey, start checking earlier. And early detection obviously saves lives because you can either have it so low in terms of your stage that you don't have to do aggressive treatment with the chemo and the radiation and such, versus not knowing your family history and therefore finding out later because you were not vigilant on checking and doing everything. And then I had another follow up. We talked about genetics, and then you said family history is not the same as genetic history. And that resonates with me because I teach psychology here at the college. And what it tells me is that it could be environment or it could be genetics.
Yes.
And so environment might be exposure to certain
certain environmental irritant. You were raised together in the same household next to this PowerPoint. You were eating the bad diet together.
Yes.
So those might cause you a few family members to get the cancer, but they don't have the actual gene that causes cancer.
Great to know. Thank you for that. So those out there, first of all, you always have to be checked. You always need to be vigilant about your health. You need to know your body. Do not be afraid to check your own body. Right. So if you see changes, you know that this is a change. You know, my breasts are usually not like this. I'm seeing a discharge. You know, all of those things are important. And I know it could be taboo to talk about, but those things are very important for you to understand about your own body so that you know when you need to start advocating for yourself because something's different, something changed. And then the genetic part of it also gives you a little head start to say, hey, this is a possibility because of your genes. We know that those genes get passed down from our parents. And so it's quite possible you may get some of that from parents and from your bloodline and from your parents' parents. So it's very important to make sure that you understand those things. Oh my gosh.
And if I just may add, is some people may ask, so why do I need to know? Just like you said, you just mentioned, you need to know because you can do something about it. There's risk reduction that we can do. We have medication we can give you. That same tamoxifen, maybe you hear a lot of that.
Yes.
Breast cancer patients take. We also give it to people with high risk, people who have the positive genes. Also, you cannot change your age, but you can change your diet. You can watch your weight. You can incorporate activity, exercise. You can stop smoking. You can stop drinking. So there are things that you can do to help keep you, and also the frequent visits to your healthcare provider. So you can do instead of the annual, in your case, you may have to do it every 6 months, every 3 months, so we can keep ahead of anything that might be coming.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So we've heard so many beautiful reflections of faith, family, resilience. What does thriving after cancer truly look like to you beyond just surviving? Any of you can answer that question. What does thriving after cancer truly look like to you? And it's just, think of beyond just surviving.
Quality of life, I think that's so important to understand. After cancer, you know, it's not like all chances of cancer coming back is out or gone. You still need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself after cancer. But quality of life is so important after cancer, and making sure that you're sharing your journey with your direct family and other people that may have to experience things that they don't understand. But to me, I think quality of life is the biggest thing after cancer, being able to live my life to the fullest and love on the people that matter, your mom, your dad, your, husband.
Okay. All right.
Your twin sister.
I want to protect my peace.
Oh, yes, I like that. Uh-huh. Anyone else?
Let's see. I'm not quite sure what life looks like after cancer because I don't consider that there is truly an after cancer for me. What I do love about the fact of having the diagnosis is I found the strength to step into the life I'm living. I became stronger. Like you, I preserve my peace. I step up. I show up for the people I care about. I show out. I don't live my life as if a disease can kill me. Anything can happen to me at any time. But I do try to live like I'm dying every day. I want to give all of my love.
Powerful.
I want to give all of me to everybody. I want to try to leave a legacy so that if I'm at a funeral in the casket and there's a eulogy, people will have something to say about what I did and how I made them feel. I want to touch the people that I care about. I want to touch the people that I know, but also reach my hand out for the people I don't know, for the people who don't have anyone. Again, I went through my first session of cancer without anyone being able to go into a doctor's visit with me during COVID or a hospital room. I was completely alone there, except for the people that I sat with. Breast cancer is very, very prevalent in Sylvester, which is at U Health, but there were gentlemen there who were going through prostate cancers, and there were people that had other cancer diagnoses that were there and alone too. So for the time that I was sitting in those visits, I tried to be a friend to people. I would sit and hang out so that, we're already cleared to be there. If someone had to go in and needed to come out, they'd have somebody that was there for them. And I think that is what my life is now, just trying to be a champion. I feel like I'm a rock star.
Okay.
Because I'm always going to show
I
up
love,
show
and
out
I
for
mean,
someone.
powerful words. Live
Wow.
today like you are dying, and get all of, the bucket list that everybody talks about. Do it now, right? Live now. All right. So this is the last one that I'm going to ask to the entire group. Each of you has used your voice to inspire awareness. What are some practical ways the community, schools, churches, workplaces can get involved in spreading awareness and supporting survivors?
I would say, as they were talking about being a support system, I was a speaker for Susan G. Komen and a Ford Warrior. And my goal was always to bring people along, but not people who have gone through the journey. So while you are not part of this journey, join the journey, volunteer, walk with somebody. A friend of mine passed, Dominique, and she used to walk with me every year. And then when she was diagnosed, she called me. She says, "Now I understand why I'm in your life." But she was just there to support me when she never thought that she would have ever had cancer. But be there for the people that you don't know. Walk, advocate, volunteer.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you all to make a single statement here. If you could leave our audience with one message of hope, healing, or encouragement, especially for those currently facing a diagnosis, what would it be?
Wow. For me, you said one word?
One statement.
One statement. Okay. Love. Love hard. Always give from your heart. That's what I believe, whatever.
Okay, so last word for the audience is make sure you go get your mammogram. You don't have to wait for October. Breast cancer is every day. So get your mammogram anytime. Make yourself priority, especially for our women out there, our Black women. We tend to put everybody else on top and then forget about ourselves. But make a point to go and get yourself checked out. For those, we talk about self-awareness. Be aware of your breasts. People are telling me they don't like to touch themselves. I tell you, you are touching yourselves every day, that you are taking a shower. You just have to take a second and take a little bit longer there, and just to make sure everything is the way you know it to be. You don't have to be looking for anything specific, but just know how normally it looks. Just like Cheryl said, then if something is there, you would know this hasn't been there, or this was not like this before. This is different than what I know my breast to be. And like I said, prevention is better than treatment. So that's why we say early detection save lives. Please.
Thank you. All right.
I was going to say, put God first in all you do.
Thank you. Thank you for that. My name is Dr. Shameen Garrison. I am the Executive Director of the Carrie P. Meek Center. And the Carrie P. Meek Center is an outreach center for Miami-Dade College North Campus. We are a college campus right here in Liberty City. And thank you for joining us for the interview at Center Stage at Meek.